Alright folks, as you can see we're in Lynchburg, Tennessee. And what makes Lynchburg so great is that it's the home to the oldest operating distillery in the United States, which is the Jack Daniels Distillery. Today we're going to walk around the square, which is super cute, and then we're going to take a tour of the distillery, Jack Daniels whiskey. Here we go. So here we are at the Jack Daniels Visitor Center. It's open from 9 to 4:30. They do tours every day. So we're going to pull in. Welcome to Jack Daniels. And you can already tell that this is just super pretty grounds to walk around. Here's a sign with the rules if you're going to do the Jack Daniels tour. But up there's the visitor center, but they said it's the end of June, summertime. It's nice outside. And then you got the really pretty grounds here at the visitor center. The whiskey barrels. And right here is actually a path that leads to historic Lynchburg, which is a cute little square downtown area, which is where we're going to head to after the distillery tour, which we have to get our tickets right here in the visitor center. And the Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee, National Register of Historic Places. And it's also celebrating 25 years of the visitor center. And I think the official exact date was yesterday, June 26, 2025. Oh, right here. I was right. June 26, 2000. So it's been 25 years, the visitor center. We're a day late, but that's okay. So it was $35 per person to do the tour, which includes like a mile walking. You get to see a bunch of different things, which you'll see in the video. But I also paid extra $10 for, we're going to try the slushy. And we're doing the 9:30 tour, which will start here in a few minutes. And so we're ready to get started. So here's some awards. It says World's Best American Style Whiskey 2025, Jack Daniels Triple Mash. And the Old Whiskey 12-year-old batch number 2 is what the awards say. So we got our tickets to the tour. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. And they give you a wristband right here to do the tour. And then I got the sampling wristband because I'm going to try the slushy at the end of the tour. And here's a picture of the man of the hour, Mr. Jack Daniels. This picture was taken, says, in 1883, and he was 33 years old. Mr. Jack Daniels. Curious what he looks like. So the tour starts, we get on a bus and they take us up a hill, so I guess we're going to visit the grounds and everything. So let's get on the bus and get this tour started. Alright, this right here is a barrel house. This is where they store the barrel of whiskeys in here. And they'll sit anywhere from 4 years to 7 years in this building. The barrel house is what it's called.
Oh, this is where you pick up your...
Yeah.
This is big.
People are lightheaded at the start of the tour, aren't they? So I got my Jack and Coke. I thought it was at the end, but it's actually the beginning because we were people drunk at the start of the tour. I hate it for entertaining, but here we go. I'm going to give it a try. I'm a lightweight. way, just a heads up.
What do you think?
Not too bad.
Not too
It's
bad?
definitely strong. You can definitely taste the Jack.
Oh, really? Nothing wrong with that. Hold on, we're gonna miss the tour. Hold on. We're gonna get distracted.
This right here is coal burning, and when it's running and burning, it actually gets up to 2,000 degrees. The heat is too intense.
Have to be like lower beers, like percentage wise.
Yeah.
So we always joke we're more damp now than we really are dry.
So real quick, we think it's funny because
There he is, Jack Daniels. And we're fixing to head into the cave where they get all the water that they use to make the Jack Daniels whiskey.
actually that was really important. When Jack started making whiskey, he wasn't here, he was right down the road. He was one of the youngest of 10 kids. And right after Jack was born, his mother passed away. And Jack's dad was let the 10 kids take care of on his own mid-1800s. Jack's dad got remarried to his kids, so they didn't know. But as Jack got older, they said that Jack and his new stepmama couldn't get along, they were always fighting. So eventually they kicked Jack out of the house, where Jack leaves home on his own pretty young. The shocking part about that to most people is that we know he wasn't even a teenager yet, and it's always at least been said that when he was picked out, he was around 6 or 7 years old. But he was little. He ended up right down the road from here at Dan Paul's farm as a farm hand to hard labor. And Dan Paul was a farmer, a whiskey maker, and a Lutheran minister. A lot going on. Well, Jack got there, they put Jack to work making whiskey. They started to train him. This is where y'all have to keep in mind when this was. Before the Civil War in the U.S., before emancipation, there's an enslaved man at Dan Paul Farm by the name of Nathan Nearing Street. And Nathan was an expert at making whiskey. He was known for it. Jack first started to learn. Dan Paul and Nathan gave him like whiskey 101 used to work. But then the day by day mentorship, like apprenticeship, ended up calling between Nathan Greenville and Jack. In 1866, the awarded it to Jack registered the distillery, first registered in the whole U.S. He made Nathan the very first master distiller. We still use that structure to this day. Top position over the whole distillery. We'll talk more about it. From that point forward, Nathan and Jack kept making whiskey. In 1880, they found this water. When they found this, they decided to move that whole operation from about 5 miles down the road to right here. Because what y'all are looking at is like a gold mine for whiskey makers. There's a lot of water with quartz in it. What's most unique is actually on the rock. That's a natural filter called Tennessee limestone. So it's going to keep our water perfectly clean. Most important for us is going to take out the iron. Because if you have iron in whiskey water, your whiskey will turn out a little gray in color. It won't taste right. You always want it. That doesn't naturally work. So we've been using this water for over 140 years to make all the Jack for the whole world, and it's never dried up. So if y'all ever drink Jack ever, you drink this water. Okay?
Wow, look how crystal clear that is. And we're back out.
favorite story of the whole tour, though, is that one morning Mr. Jack walked in here really early for work to get some out of that safe. Walked in so early, no one else was in here yet for the day. Not typical of Jack. He liked to sleep in even the daytime. But he walks in, tries to open it up, and realizes he can't remember the combination. But he thought he was going to keep trying until someone else got here, which would make perfect sense. Except the more he tried, the more frustrated he got. Eventually, Jack got so mad that he lost his temper, reared back with his left foot, and kicked that safe as hard as he could. And I'll tell y'all, that's the original safe. It weighs about 1,200 pounds. He didn't win. He hurt his foot. But he thought he was really tough and he was stubborn, so he tried to walk off his foot injury for 6 months. So the pain got so bad he couldn't take it, he had to go. The doctor told him pretty quick that was a bad idea, because that whole time he was walking around on a shattered big left toe, and he formed an infection called gangrene. 1906, no antibiotics. What did they do to his toe?
Cut it off.
Clean off. Back then, you cut and you hope for the best. That's all there was. It continued to spread, so they tried to play catch up. Over the next several years, they cut at Jack's ankle, then underneath his knee, and then all the way up to his left hip. Jack lost his whole leg. Still wasn't enough. So in 1911, Jack Daniels died from blood poisoning. I'm picking this safe. We do call it the murder weapon. Don't get too close. We do love that story though, because there's so many great lessons, like have patience, go to the doctor, write down your passwords. But our favorite for the employees is that Jack Daniel, the man himself, taught us that you never go into work early. Our bosses love that.
So here's the huge grain mill. Important part of the whiskey process. Guess we're gonna get to go inside here, but unfortunately there's no camera or video footage allowed inside. So here we go. So something about pictures and cameras is saying that flash can give off sparks, which is very detrimental to this process. So there's no photo or videos allowed in here. And this is the grain mill. Here we are at the top of the grain mill. Just exited. Got to see the whiskey fermenting. So we're in the building that does actually the bottling. Pretty cool. We have actual people in there doing it. We've exited the bottling building, and this is where you saw where they put the bottles in the cases, but this is the one and only place that distributes Jack Daniels throughout the whole world.
So we're about to start moving through these. Real quick though, to explain how we do it. The most important part of our tasting in here is that we all move together. And we do it this way because whiskey is just one big opinion. You can never be wrong. You'll get very different things. So we're going to talk as we go. Remember, this is also a dry county. We have to make it educational. Alright? Open up your water bottle first. Get a big old sip. Typically the most familiar, so it's a good little practice round. Go ahead and pick up that first sample on your left, next to the handle. Quick little trick. So whenever you smell whiskey, you actually don't want to lean directly in. You want to lean to one side, smell for a couple seconds, then try the other one. One of your sides, your nose works better than the other. Go ahead and figure it out.
I didn't know that.
It's weird, yeah. I didn't know that's how it works.
My right one works better.
It's crazy. It's not like your right and left hand, though. It can change throughout the day, so you always want to test it out. It's wild, though. We go through all this because your taste buds heavily rely on your nose. The more that you smell, the more you're going to taste out of it, right? A little bitty sip first, so y'all go ahead and do that. Let it lay on your tongue for a couple seconds, then drink it down. Your first sip's going to be your boldest because it adjusts your palate. If you have a tinkle going on, all you have to do is go out of your mouth, it'll go away. It's like a magic trick.
So we finished our sampling. There were 6 of them. And these were the 6 we tried. These 3. And then these 3. Well, that's the conclusion of our tour after the tasting, which makes sense. Chrissy's feeling a little. I tried them all. There were 6 different ones. They're pretty good, and there's a variety of things
would have never thought of. But
Did we-
we're going
did-
to go into the gift shop, I guess. Check
Okay.
it out.
And then we're gonna hit.
And then we're going to walk across the bridge into the Old Town Square,
Yeah.
Lynchburg, Tennessee.
And we got an appointment for 1 o'clock to eat.
Yes, at Miss Mary Bobo's family style dining, all you can eat.
All right, that's the way I like it. I enjoyed it. That was I like that.
Enjoyed it? Even
Yeah.
though you're not an alcohol drinker?
I'm not an alcohol drinker at all, by no means, but I enjoyed it.
So something Jack Daniels offers is engraving on the bottles, and here's just an example of some of the, I guess, the prints they offer, which is super cool. Make a super cool gift, personalized and everything. It says right here, only $10 per size. Something to think about. And it's just so freaking clean.
Yes, very clean.
Very clean.
They do a great job with it being clean. Because we've been to some places that, yeah, it's not too good.
And I mean, you don't see anything falling apart. So, well, we haven't made it to the square yet, so. But there it is, straight ahead, the square. And this right here, you get to Lynchburg, and this is probably one of a few places that is recommended to eat. But of course, we're in the South, so barbecue is always a plus. Barrel House Barbecue, down in the hollow. Food they served, but we're officially on the square. It's a small square. Lynchburg only has a population of about 5,500 people, but we're gonna walk the whole square, which isn't much. While on the distillery tour, they did a video on the making of the barrels, and here's some barrels. They only use them one time, and then they sell them, and you can buy them here on the square. Granted, this isn't a store, this is more decoration, little event center on the square I came into. But the wood is white oak, and then they flame it, and that gives like the caramelized color and flavoring as the whiskey sits in the barrel and ages. But they only use it one time, and then after they empty out the barrel, you can actually buy it. So everything they use at Jack Daniels Distillery is 99.9% recyclable, reused. But that would be like an awesome souvenir to have. So, like I said, they only use the barrel one time. Once it's empty, they sell them and you can buy them. Here's the barrel shop. $112 for an empty barrel. I imagine it has a smell to it that will last a while. Oh, wow. And this one's $185, it says. Distressed. They're different prices. Maybe some weren't used. Some are. The cheaper ones are probably used.
Or the design.
And these are dressed up and stained, maybe. No prices on those. That is a cute little table.
I like it.
So, at the end of the square right here is actually the jail. It was built in 1875. Lynchburg was starting to be established as a little town with a distillery nearby, and so they needed a place to house just, you know, petty crimes, drunkenness, and so this was built in 1875, the jail. And then over here in the center of the square is the courthouse, which it was built in 1885. So if you decide to come here and you plan your day right, this is actually the jail. They keep funny hours, but I've been in the jail before and it is super cool. So we're gonna go in and let you guys get a little taste of what's in this jail.
Other side up to 1986 had a living room, dining room, kitchen, 2 bedrooms upstairs. This side was the jail. Men are upstairs and women in the back.
Buford
You
Pusser's
can
daughter.
go upstairs either one. They still lock up.
Even
You got
Buford
anybody who will lock up?
Pusser's
Yeah, I
stick that he
do.
carried around and his badge.
She's looking at
If you know
Buford
anything about
Pusser's
Buford
stuff right
Pusser,
over there. Are you gonna lock
he was
them
a sheriff
two up?
in McNairy County. They did a movie,
But
Walking
that's
Tall.
Buford Pusser's
Badges of
axle,
different
axe
police
handle,
departments
badge and
throughout the
pack.
anywhere and everywhere.
And that's his daughter up there by the door you came in. She was over here in 2018, went home, shot herself. She was the last of them. She had 2 daughters, a husband, and a museum over there in Sumner, Tennessee, McNairy County. Yeah, that's her right there. 57 years old. Johnny Cash, Richard Petty, they were here. They did a commercial in '78. If you go under YouTube,
Awesome museum.
go Johnny Cash, Richard
The
Petty, STP commercial.
person that ran the jail actually lived here. You could smell the antiqueness in here. Nice little museum. There's the front door. We started on the right and this is the left. Did a little circle. Fireplace. And it's free to do the tour. They take donations, but you're free to come in the jail and see. And here's a sign, see? Sheriff's Family Bedrooms. Antique tools and vintage clothing. Huh, look at these steps. How old. I'm all about original. Cardboard cutouts looking out the window. Give you a little spook. I'm gonna guess this was a bedroom.
That guy's full of information, ain't he?
Yeah, he is. I wasn't expecting Buford Pusser, but now that I know who he is, that's awesome. Original stick?
And then plus me and her, we're going to go do a tour, right?
Yeah, Buford Pusser in October. We're gonna go to where he was sheriff. And supposedly this place is really haunted. If you want to come to Lynchburg in the square, they do ghost tours. We did it a few years ago. It gives a good history and
Ghost tour.
things they've encountered, I guess. Yep, see, here's a bedroom. Simple and efficient. All right, we're gonna go back down the stairs.
I think it's a little hotter upstairs.
Oh yeah, heat rises, it's expected. I don't think there's really any central in here. Old phone. And this is a small jail. So I'll go way back to the front door. Just go and visit some cells. There's only 2 in this room. I got an old save. super small room.
Yeah, he did that remake of that movie, Joe Don Baker did. She let him swirl it around 3 times and told him put it down.
Toilet sink in a bed.
Man got no good. His favorite weapon was a stick, but he had a 38 special.
So down here was the women's cells, the 2 rooms we just saw.
Shot her accidentally.
And then
Because the gun bullets were coming from everywhere.
that sign says upstairs is the men's jail cells.
Around, some shooting and somebody shot her.
Let's go up there.
He wouldn't have shot her twice.
These metal doors. The paint peeling. But, wow. Looks like there's 2 cells in here. Bunks. Women had it much better. 2 men in here. That's all that's to it. And then right next door is another one. 2 bunks. And it's like a big metal square in the center of the upstairs. There's a toilet. So they're still locked in even though they came out of their cell to use the bathroom. There's the stairs I came up, and then let's walk around. I guess if you're gonna walk around, some little artifacts. Oh, that's cute. So that was like they were double locked in between their cell and then this whole big room upstairs. Wow. So I guess, look at that. You slide that to lock the door. Awesome. All right. And there's the jail. The square from another angle. And then the courthouse, which was built in 1885. And there's the man himself sitting in a bench, greeting visitors. Lots of souvenir shops, few places to eat. Wow, and there's his twin brother, Jack. Cowboy Jacks. On the other side of the square, ice cream pizza. Super small square, but small town of 5,500 people. So a few buildings up from the jail is this building right here. It used to be a boarding house back in the day, and now it's turned into a family-style restaurant. It's called Miss Mary Bobo's, and you need to make a reservation if you want to come in here and eat family-style dining. Something you don't see too often these days. But we have a 1 o'clock appointment, and we're going to go in here and eat lunch, and it's all you can eat as well. So yeah, as you could see, it was super crowded in there, super popular place. But we are gonna be eating in the Tolly room. So they'll call us at 1 o'clock and take us to our room. And you saw the big round table, let's see. That's where we'll be eating, and family style. Be making some new family, I guess.
You can see we serve home style. So today we have got catfish and ribs. So for sides, we have collard greens, coleslaw. We have a chili, cheese, and rice casserole, cornbread muffins with butter, fried extra crispy. If you've never had okra, give it a try. You might just like it. We have got our Lynchburg candied apples. They do contain our product. You will taste it. Pinto beans. This is, what's this called? Blackjack sauce or something?
Red dog sauce.
Red dog sauce. I believe that's for the catfish. I'm going to slowly rotate the Lazy Susan because this is not Wheel of Fortune. So take from the platter or bowl in front of you, and once everybody has everything on their plate and it has gone all the way around, then it can go in either direction so that you can have seconds. Okay? Go ahead and start eating, even if you don't have everything on your plate, because we want you to start eating while everything is I hope so.
We're in the first room as you walk in the front door. Miss Mary Bobo's boarding house, and that's right. Here's a picture of Miss Mary Bobo. She lived to be 102 years old. She passed away in 1983.
Yes,
Yes,
very much. And the meal was great.
yes. The meal style was awesome.
Yes.
Very friendly.
So if you come to
Lynchburg, Tennessee, be sure and make your reservation to eat at Mary Bobo's.
that's right.